Warning, there are opinions ahead. No one's telling you how to think or what to think. This is just what we think. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new art that Wizards of the Coast is using for the Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master Guide, and the new Monsters Manual.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an upload. And join the conversation over at the Agranak Cult Discord.
Alright, Zoth, you ready?
Well, I can't say that I'm enthused. We're talking about Wizards of the Coast, and I thought we wrote them off.
Well, at this point, I'm never planning on buying anything from Hasbro-owned Wizards of the Coast, but it is an interesting topic.
Yeah, I guess so. So what do you got?
So we're going to be taking a look first at the Player's Handbook.
Okay.
A lot has already been said about this cover. Let me kind of say it again. At first glance, the dragon looks kind of weird. The talons, the claws, the hands.
Yeah, what the hell?
What I'm thinking is that this is kind of an elongated dragon and more like a lindworm. And so the arms are really lower on the body.
So you're defending this art piece?
Kinda. But not totally. Just hear me out here. If it's a lindworm and the arms are down lower, then yeah, it's going to have a weird perspective. And I'm sure the artist here had a bit of some time to kind of think about it.
Yeah, but at first glance, and really don't you sell books by their cover? It just kind of looks weird.
Yeah, typically everybody thinks that the dragon is the thing that you might be fighting against in a game like Dungeons & Dragons.
Well, of course.
But here, I think this dragon may be a part of the party. And I say that because if you look at the alternative cover here, you can see the player characters, or what are supposed to be the player characters, are just kind of hanging out with this lindworm type of dragon.
Okay, I see.
But for their flagship product that's coming out, I guess in November, at first glance, this just seems weird. Everybody's been talking about how the players, or what are supposed to be the player characters, are kind of looking in different directions, and a lot of people are kind of confused at this cover, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, when you look at the kind of bigger view of this, it definitely looks like this gold dragon in the back is part of this party. And they're actually fighting some red dragons and dragonkin or dragonborn sort of characters.
Yeah, so with that knowledge, then the cover makes more sense. And sometimes when you're so into just getting out the idea of the cover, and you've got executives that are saying, yes, we want to go with a cover like this, their knowledge of what's going on doesn't necessarily translate well all the time.
Absolutely not, especially in this case.
But some people might think that this dragon is more akin to a cryptid than a glorious, foreboding dragon.
Yeah, hit it on the head. As a dragon, I kinda am offended at this. I mean, yeah, that dragon looks a little less than.
Now, I'm no amazing artist, and neither is Zoth.
How do you know? You've never seen my art?
That's true. Well, I'll just speak for myself. I'm not the greatest of artists, but I am a consumer of art, especially being a lover of Dungeons and Dragons. So this one's just, it's kind of weird.
I agree.
So obviously the focus here is the party.
Yeah, the gold dragon here is clearly on the side of the players, or may actually be a player.
Yeah, polymorphed, or they're going to allow dragon player characters.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, it would be the logical next step for a rule set that basically makes the characters demigods at level 1. I loved playing 5e, don't get me wrong, but it showed me that the PCs are really on their path to being immortals, gods, etc. It is a theme that is throughout some of the books. I mean, even Basic, Expert, the Immortals, books of yesteryear. But most people don't typically get past 7th, 8th, 9th level.
Yep. Really the sweet spot is 1st through 10th for me.
Me as well. But 5e had its place for me. Many of the players, actually the characters that were played, are now gods in my world because they were so ridiculously over-the-top powerful.
Yep, I can see how you can do that.
So if I ever play a game like 5e, and it won't be Dungeons & Dragons 5e, it would probably be somebody else's interpretation of those rules, because I would rather give money to real people than the machine of Hasbro.
Yeah, but that's another video.
Yes, it is. I would play in that realm again, but mostly just to see if the player characters will become demigods.
Totally.
For this art, in my opinion, it's kind of like 5th edition art to me. I believe the artist is the same that did the 5th edition covers, but it looks like video game concept art to me, which is done primarily on like Photoshop or Illustrator.
Yeah, it really doesn't have that refined look like you got with previous editions of the game. Specifically when they use the greats like Elmore and other amazing artists of the 80s and 90s.
But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Speaking of beholders, let's look at the monster manual.
Nice segue.
Thank you. At first glance, this is a better cover than the player's handbook, I think. On second glance, what happened to the beholder's anti-magic ray from its main eye? And the spellcaster in the center, casting a spell. Maybe it's like the player's handbook and the beholder is a friend.
Actually, I think you may be onto something. Maybe the beholder's going to be a playable race as well.
Yeah, only time will tell, I suppose. Again, this is a better cover than the player's handbook, but how about some game mechanic authenticity?
That could be asking too much from the likes of Hasbro Wizards of the Coast.
You're probably right, but this cover for me, just nope. Nope.
Yep. Nope.
All right, let's take a look at the final of the trio, the DMG. Out of the three, I like this one the best. This is Venger from the 1980s D&D cartoon that really, when you think back to it, was not that well received, even in the 80s. Most kids I knew were watching He-Man, G.I. Joe, and even the Smurfs were better. I watched it because the cartoon depicted D&D, not because it was particularly good.
I don't know if I agree with you. I kind of dig the Dungeon Master in that series.
He's definitely iconic, but a weird character to say the least.
All right, agree to disagree.
All right. But maybe they're going to reintroduce the cartoon. At any rate, the cover is at least better in my opinion, but the composition is far away. It's not in your face. Such as the Red Box Basic from 1983 was in your face. And you could tell what it was trying to portray immediately, even in a small little thumbnail.
Yeah, I think you got a point there.
Let's do a graphic design test and look at thumbnails of these classic D&D covers. Which one gives you visual description the quickest?
Oh yeah, enough said. Which one's your favorite? Leave it in the comments.
All right, the conclusion. I think the new art is probably a great facsimile of what the content of the game will be. Lackluster and really just an excuse to sell a reskinned version of 5e.
Yeah, I'm not into it.
So if you are trying to sell books, and you sell books by what they look like, then you might want to think about making your main art the alternate covers art. There's something at least whimsical and evocative about those. But that's just my opinion.
And I have to concur as well. Do you agree? Disagree? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for stopping by Agranak Studios today, and we'll see you on the next one.
Later!
This video was brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. Consider becoming a patron so you can help us make more content like this. Or get yourself a t-shirt below. Later!
Alright, do this, and do that, and do this, and do that. And watch this video.